Good day, everybody. My name is Todd Stanley. Thank you so much for tuning in to my Throwback Thursday video. Today, I'm going to talk about thermal images of Sasquatch, and I'm going to be breaking probably international headlines with a new piece of thermal footage that'll be coming out on my Sasquatch Sunday video. So I'm going to introduce as much as I can about thermals today, especially the fact that the United States of America is very, very aware and know of the existence of Sasquatch 100%. I've had a significant amount of dealings with American military on expedition and cooperating with me over the years. I've been very grateful for their help and assistance. Various officers that were still working for the U.S. military, and then others that were retired and no longer a part of it. They've shared equipment with me, and they've been hugely instrumental in my success for this discovery process. So we're going to talk about that at length, and I'm going to have a big reveal. I'm going to give you a little taste of what's coming. I'm still doing background research, talking to police. Oh yes, this is gonna blow you away. This is so big. Literally, police, Sasquatch have done millions of dollars in damage. Police are looking for this giant, huge man who's 9 feet tall. I mean, it's preposterous. You're gonna have a good laugh over how ridiculous. The police are thinking a man is responsible for this enormous amount of destruction that's been transpiring. And the thermal image, probably the greatest thermal image of Sasquatch in existence. I'm going to give you a little piece of that today. So lots to come. Stay tuned. So all these topics to come today, specifically talking about the thermal image of the Sasquatch, and obviously, I mean, with the technology that the United States military has, never mind, like stuff that we know publicly is absolutely mind blowing. I mean, this has been going on for decades and decades. The information I have isn't really true, isn't new whatsoever. Like, for example, the 1975 Washington State Atlas for the Army Corps of Engineers talked about Sasquatch. And what is amazing, how I found out about that, was a colonel who, in his earlier career, was involved in a Sasquatch that had been not captured but found nearly dead in a creek in a glacier just in winter that was dying. And the reason this female was dying was she had eaten, somehow she got a fish hook in her body, and it was caught in her intestinal tract. So the reason she hadn't died is she was literally hypothermic. It was the hypothermia that was keeping her alive. It was reported by locals. The military went in and removed it. I don't know much about the Men in Black or how it was removed. It all became, obviously, when the military covers something up, it's all rumor and mystery. Look at the things like Area 51, and they just are you know very good at covering things up. So this happened in 1969, I was told. So what's amazing, though, and what they learned about this Sasquatch was their telepathy. And I talk about that a lot. This was well known to the U.S. military, and it was discovered during this process. So the injury to her was a simple, since her anatomy was so similar to human beings, they literally almost immediately found out what was wrong with her. They did an easy surgery on her, removed the hook, and then, as far as I know, as far as I've been told, she spent the rest of her life in captivity being studied. And the reason for that was, first and foremost, so this is a major discovery that happened that really changed the way the military, they probably had knowledge of Sasquatch, but they didn't realize how massive this discovery was until what happened was, so this is a little something that the people that were observing her noticed. So somebody who had no knowledge, this is in a big, enormous compound, like a military compound, cement walls, bulletproof glass, all that kind of stuff. So in this compound, what happened was somebody who didn't know there was a Sasquatch there was making her and preparing her food every day as she was recovering from the surgery. So what they noticed was the Sasquatch in the compound, she would react salivatory and favorably when the food was being cooked up. And this happened over a period of weeks. So they did a little experiment. So they had the woman who was cooking her up the food make something really vile and disgusting, and literally the Sasquatch 100% reacted by, they have this like recorded, where this Sasquatch was using telepathy to see into the mind of this human being that was preparing her food and able to know what was coming and was reacting to it. And they did other experiments, but that's actually how it started. And if you can't understand how enormous that knowledge is, it literally, like men who stare at goats, the uh, what's that called, the telepathy over distance they're doing, but it's spawned this whole military area of telepathy and mind speak and all these different military important things that have been going on. Obviously, during the Cold War between Russia and the United States, and Britain and other countries have been really utilizing this. But apparently, the Sasquatch was tremendously instrumental in the United States in moving that research forward. So that was a huge discovery. And then what it spawned from there, what I'm very aware of, speaking of thermal, is so the thermal image that was in my documentary. If you want to see that segment, just look up Discovering Bigfoot. It's on YouTube now. You play it on Netflix, Amazon. It's been through the whole gamut. Now it's here on YouTube. You can watch it. So there's a section. It's my video 7. It's a thermal video of a Sasquatch. So an Apache helicopter captain who was running border patrol between Canada and the United States called me and told me that, wow, he was like, wow, that's a real Sasquatch. I hope you know that I support that you filmed the Sasquatch that day. And I was, impressed. And he said, there's lots that I could teach you. So can I, meet with you and have a little discussion? I'll tell you, it was so mind-blowing. He taught me so much about Sasquatch that I'm going to use today in the analysis of this brand new thermal image. But some of the points that he made, so as a helicopter operator, what they do is they do border patrol and they use thermals primarily. They have high-tech thermal cameras, very, very elite level thermal cameras. And what they would do is they had a code for when it was a Sasquatch, because they'd see the Sasquatch on quite a regular basis. And Sasquatch are moving bipedally like humans, so they had to have 3 identifiers they would utilize to recognize that it was actually a Sasquatch and not a person. I couldn't believe he was telling me this. So all the border patrol between Canada and the United States, not down in Mexico, he had no knowledge of any Sasquatch moving back and forth. It's a totally different ballgame, obviously, from Mexico to the United States. But human beings, what they are is, so the first thing he would note is this: when you see a Sasquatch, one of the most profound things is from head to toe, he's naked. He has a continuous thermal signal from top to bottom, which is very important because human beings have boots on, they have watches on, they wear shirts, they have a hat. So first thing you notice for a Sasquatch is thermals that are linear. And he noticed that with my Sasquatch. Second thing they would notice would be velocities at which human beings can't move. So literally a Sasquatch, when a helicopter would come above and start tracking it, when it went into motion, they would notice just simply a velocity at which was not attainable from a human being. And not getting into the specifics of the way they move and whatnot, but just a velocity where a bipedal hominid is upright moving in excess of 30 miles an hour. That's not a man. And the last thing that they looked for, which would make them pawn right off on it, is the individual, the Sasquatch, would be moving away from the roads, away from civilization into deep wilderness. Apparently human beings don't do that. So generally, when you have those 3 criteria, they would call it a code 6, and they would just leave it as a Sasquatch. So this is I'm talking like back in the 80s. This gentleman was doing border patrol like that. So really tremendous, significant knowledge of Sasquatch the U.S. military has. Obviously, this is old news. I mean, they've known about this species for decades and decades, and they're simply not going to acknowledge or release it because it's our governments, and why would they? So, and I've had a lot of military, a lot of government officials contact me and express openness and explain to me the reality of this knowledge and this understanding. I mean, and like Survivor Man told me, if you really want to understand why the discovery is not public, just follow the money. These are literally, now we know, and the government knows, this is a sentient species, an indigenous sentient species. They'll have rights. They'll have land rights. I mean, they're highly intelligent, highly knowledgeable beings, very spiritual. And I have evidence. That's when I took this to court. I have significant evidence substantiating that these are sentient beings. So how's that going to work when we're logging their land, when we're taking minerals from their lands and whatnot? It's just going to be a total debacle, and it's really going to affect money. And if you don't think lumber and mining rights and minerals and land rights are valuable to human beings, I don't know what to tell you. They're very, very significantly valuable. So, and another incident that was recorded too was when they started to develop new thermal imaging from satellites. So apparently there was a drill going on between two military teams that were versing each other, and they were using the satellites to pick up on it. And apparently a Sasquatch got involved, which had them literally stop the whole mission and then move forward and try to, catch this particular individual. And obviously, when it hit speeds in excess of even this is where I got this information from. They may be the fastest terrestrial mammal, fastest terrestrial animal, faster than pronghorns, which are the fastest animals in North America. And I have evidence to substantiate that as well, that it picked up speeds and moved out at those kind of velocities. So literally, if you were able to take a Sasquatch, and I know this sounds preposterous, but remember the military did this with dolphins and train them. I mean, powerful, twice as strong as a gorilla, fast, like speeds may very well be the fastest terrestrial animal on the planet. And the way they move fluidly and their telepathic ability would, make them an exceptional military advantage, military asset, I guess. So who knows what they're doing at this point, but they are very aware of the species. I've had multiple, and you got to think like, no, no doubt about it. I mean, what the American military and what they're capable of in today's day and age is absolutely fantastic. So if you're in the know that Sasquatch exist, then obviously the American military has every piece of knowledge of it. And until they're forced to come out and admit the truth, they're just simply not going to do that, which is very frustrating. So off to the final piece that I'm not going to talk about too much today, but I will show you this image. So this is a video still of a Sasquatch that was taken and released by police. So this individual was responsible for doing significant damage that is going to blow your mind. So I'm literally talking, you're going to see a police officer do a little speech about this individual. You're going to see the news article that was written about this individual, and it's going to kind of make you chuckle that, they're literally thinking some man was responsible for this incredibly impossible act of destruction. And it's a Sasquatch, and 100% a Sasquatch. So this is going to be huge news, just even amongst the Bigfoot people that have knowledge of this species. This is absolutely enormous. This is tremendously important for this discovery process moving forward for multiple reasons. So I'm going to break down this amazing thermal image, explain to you in detail why I know this is a Sasquatch, and then how the Sasquatch are doing this impossible act of arson, which is absolutely outstanding and amazing. So lots to come for Sasquatch Sunday. So I'll be talking to police again tomorrow, I hope. And if not, then it'll be an ongoing investigation. I expect they're going to be inundated once the Sasquatch Sunday video comes out come Monday morning. It's going to be very significant, and this will probably blow up and be all over the internet. And I will be talking about this for years, because this is literally the greatest thermal imaging of Sasquatch of all time that's gone public. And remember, this is a video still. This is only a still image of a video. So they literally have this Sasquatch in motion. I would love to get a hold of that video. I'm hoping that will come out, because this will literally be one of the most enormous pieces of Sasquatch evidence in existence. It's that significant. So stay tuned for Sunday for that to come. Until then, take care. Thanks for tuning in.